Hello and welcome to Live and Local, the Andover edition. My name is Jim Childs and I want to welcome you to Pine Hills North. It's one of the new shelters here in Andover, and we have got a great show coming up. All things great about Andover is coming up next on Live and Local. Well, welcome back. It is the 30th year for Andover Fun Fest, and we are joined by the coordinator, Angie Sandusky. She's been doing it for over a decade. Angie, it's super special to have you back again to tell us kind of what's happening. It's only 16 days away, and we can't wait to get going. We've got the parade back this year, a lot of great things. This is a milestone for the community. Tell us a little bit about what it means to your work and the work of the committee.
Andover Family Fun Fest has proven that we can be resilient between committee changes and lockdowns. We come back year after year, so Andover can rely on us being there to provide fun activities during the summer.
Well, this year, a lot of new things. What's the most exciting thing this year about Andover Fun Fest?
I am most excited about our drone show. Okay. We have a 150 drone show that's going to go on Friday night. That is sponsored by Andover Football. We're going to have a puzzle contest for groups of 4. We're going to have a hot dog eating contest, and that's sponsored by Beef O'Brady's. There's going to be, Jump City will be back with even more attractions. They're going to have a zip line. They're going to have carnival rides. Oh, geez, epic chalk. There's a lot of new things that I'm hoping people will be excited about.
Yeah, and the parade is back this year, and you've got a lot of different special events that have been with us for a long time. Food trucks. The Lions have their beer tent back. And a lot of bands. One thing is you've got some new things coming in. We've got some last year for some other events.
Yes, this is going to be the last year for the Rockin' Hollywoods, the Law, and Elvis. They've been a great part of Fun Fest for the last 30 years, I think 30 years. But we're moving forward to the future, and we're going to try some new things next year.
There's a lot of summer festivals or summer events. What makes this one so special for Andover? I
like to think of it as it's big city fun in small town living. People, they're there 30 minutes and they're running into friends or neighbors, and so I think that just sets us apart. We have so many events and activities for people of all ages that there's something fun for everyone to do.
Yeah, and it's so centrally located. It's right outside the outside City Hall and into Sunshine Park. It's lots of space for young families to come there, and of course the drone show that happens. That's going to happen right at Sunshine, right?
Yes, they will be lifting off at Sunshine Park. There's going to be 150 drones, and it's going to be about a 15-minute show. So really excited about that.
Yeah, what a great way to bring in the 250th anniversary of the United States as well, and then also the Andover Fun Fest. It's just fantastic. Are you still looking for some volunteers for this?
We were always looking for volunteers. Our biggest need right now is, unfortunately, one of our committee members who was running bingo couldn't come back this year, and we couldn't find anybody to run bingo, so there's no bingo this year. So I'm looking for an individual to step up to coordinate and run bingo and help go get donations. Because we receive no financial aid from the City of Andover, we rely completely on donations, and every dime we make goes into next year's festival. Yeah. So that's our biggest need, is someone to run bingo.
So we can have people donate, correct? I mean, you're
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, today, right? After you get done, how do we get people to donate?
We can find updated information about donations and volunteering on our website, which is AndoverFamilyFunFest.com, and also our Facebook page. It's 4 words, Andover Family Fun Fest. There's messaging capabilities on both of those. There's emails, there's phone numbers. someone will get back to you within a couple hours.
Oh, that's fantastic. And not only can residents donate, but local businesses can be part of this as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are still having our silent auction, so there is a need for gift baskets to go to our silent auction. So if a business wants to do something up and donate it to promote themselves, we would love to take it.
Yeah, and one of the businesses that we talked about before was, Beef Brady's,
Yeah.
and what a partnership they have done for the community.
Yes.
And not to minimize any other business, but they created this hot dog eating contest, and it sounds like you've got the 5 already picked out for this. Is that correct?
Yes, what we did was we had people register online, and at our meeting last week, we drew 5 names out of a bag, and those are our 5 contestants. We want to kind of start out small this year just to kind of see how it goes, and there may be changes made for next year. Who knows?
Oh, that's great. And then there's a prize.
There is a prize. Beef Brady's has graciously donated tickets to a Twins game, and I believe it's in a suite with food and drinks provided.
And a Twins win, right?
Yeah, and a Twins win.
So when and where is all this starting? And I kind of gave it away 16 days from now, but so people can mark it on their calendar without having counted 16 days.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about
the
that.
The 30th Annual Andover Family Fun Fest is Friday and Saturday, July 10th and 11th at Andover City Hall, Andover Elementary, and the Community Center. We open at 5 o'clock on Friday, and we'll go till midnight, and then we'll be back 8 a.m. Saturday for the 5K, and we'll go until midnight again Saturday.
Okay. You've been doing this 10 years as a coordinator. You've done, and longer as part of the committee, I'm sure. And it's such an excellent event, and you have really poured your heart and soul into it for years and years and years. What is your favorite part about this festival?
After we get started and I have an opportunity to stand there and look at the crowd, see the smiles, hear the laughter, people chatting, having a good time, that's what hits me.
Yeah. So do you take the next weekend off and not do any Fun Fest, or do you?
Yes. Our committee, I have a wonderful committee, by the way. We've had some turnover this year. We have, it's amazing. If anybody has seen our Facebook page or our website, our social media ladies, they are phenomenal. So I have to give a special shout out to them because they've gone over and above. But we will have a wrap-up party where we talk about what was good, what was bad, what do we want to do next year. So that'll be the following week, and then yes, next weekend is off. Good.
And then one other thing I wanted to talk about, there's a new puzzle contest.
Yes.
Talk to us about, it's teams of 4, right? Yep. And can you still sign up for it, or is it filled?
No, I believe we still have a few sign-ups available. That information would be on our website. But it's groups of 4, and we are giving them a special puzzle that we have created, and then they will get to keep the puzzle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And is there a cost on it?
I believe it's $40.
$40. So it's $10 a piece. You all throw it in, and you get a chance to do a puzzle. I can tell you that there are a lot of people out there, that, including my wife, that would love to be able to get a puzzle, especially if it has something to do with the Andover and the Fun Fest.
Yep.
So what else anything else you'd like to add?
I hope people come out and help us celebrate our 30th. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
And you got all the guns going between the parade, the run, the music, and the drone show, all that.
Yeah.
Where can you go for the full schedule?
On our Facebook page and our website, AndoverFamilyFunFest.com.
Okay. And I just want to show, on your Andover Today, you also, right on the back, have the schedule available, so that that is, you can use that as well, and pull it up, rip it out, or you can walk and know exactly where you want to go when you get into this. And for the community of Andover, I can't thank you enough, Angie, for the time that you have put into this. I know that it's been, it goes a lot of work, and it's 365 days a year for 2 great days for us at Andover.
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
So I'm really excited today because we are at the Andover Farmers Market, and I just bought some beef sticks, so we're going to go over there and check that out. As I browsed the market, I was amazed at the sheer variety that Andover has to offer. because I am on a quest for something sweet and salty.
Farmers markets are a great way to connect the farm directly to your table, where you can come support my family and myself and the other vendors here at the farmers market that all grow and raise their own animals or their own vegetables or crops or produce, or even their grocery store items like your breads or your different sweets or desserts.
I hate to interrupt our regular scheduled broadcast, but I have a quick history lesson on the farmers market. The very first farmers market dates back 5,000 years ago to ancient Egypt. Resting alongside the Nile River, Egyptians started this trend. Fast forward to 1634 in Boston, Massachusetts. European settlers started the very first farmers market on American soil. All right, I just bought some macaroons, so I'm already getting myself in trouble here at the market.
Today we have our cake slices that are always available here. We have every Tuesday, as well as our stuffed croissants. And then today as well, we have our viral dot cakes that are trending on TikTok. We have cake pops, oatmeal cream pies, some crisp bars here, as well as the pan sizes and the bar size, and we have our macaroons as well that are available and gluten-free. I think these farmers markets are super important, not only for selling your products, but also getting involved in the community. The Andover community is so special, and I think it's almost like a small town, but kind of big city vibes. And to get into this like small town and just like connect with these people that live in your community that you've never seen before and get to sell your product that means so much to you is super important.
I'm going to do my best not to sit and eat this whole pack of macaroons, but I might have a couple, so. You can find the Andover Farmers Market every Tuesday from 2 to 6 p.m. in the Riverdale Church parking lot, running now through October 29th. Hey, we'll see you at the market.
You know, it's that time of year again in Minnesota. We've got winter, we've got fall, we've got spring, and then we've got road construction season. And we are now in the middle of the orange cones everywhere right now. You know, behind those projects, there's always someone driving this, trying to do trying to make it easier life for all of us when it comes to the roads and making it better for the development of the county. And so we're fortunate to have Joe McPherson, the Chief Officer of Transportation and Anoka County Engineering. Joe, welcome to Live and Local here. Thanks for joining us. When people hear county engineer, it's pretty technical. What does that role look like in a day-to-day type job?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. So, you know, I tell people what my job title is, and they're like, county engineer, what does that mean? And that's a common reaction. So county engineer, you know, a lot of people drive roads, and they really have no idea if they're driving on a city street, a county road, or a state highway. And so we take care of those highways that are in between the collectors in your neighborhoods, but they're the critical infrastructure. They're kind of the backbone of that local system that get you out to the trunk highways that move us at faster speeds, you know, like you're seeing on 65 and Highway 10, where those trunk highways are getting converted with interchanges, so grade-separated interchanges. We're really that local network that gets people to and from the state highway and then to their residential roads.
So here in Andover, it's, you know, you've obviously those are large. You know, are there some arteries in Andover that you guys are looking at changing and moving and that you're taking care of?
Yeah, this year I know a lot of us have already experienced some of that pressure and some of that fun orange cone time that we see in the summer. And so Hanson Boulevard was one of them. That's a main thoroughfare in Anoka County. In fact, it's one of our highest traffic volume roadways in Anoka County. It handles on the south end next to Highway 10 about 34,000 cars a day, which is a lot of vehicles.
Yeah.
And so that one we did a mill and overlay project. So we chew off that top 2 inches to 3 inches of blacktop or bituminous, and then we replace that with a nice fresh coat that kind of evens out the bumps and the cracks that you feel. And then along with that, on that corridor, we also improve the pedestrian ramps. So we have a lot of walkers and bikers that utilize our corridors for more than just driving on. They like to use them with our park system, has a lot of multi-use trails and sidewalks. And so when we do these projects, we also incorporate modifying that to get it up to the current ADA standards and that type of thing. So that's one project that's done.
Yes.
I'm happy to say it's
Yes.
finally done.
Yeah.
The other one that's a main corridor in the north-south direction is Round Lake Boulevard. And that project, we're currently finishing up the signal replacement project. So all the stoplights on that corridor from, I believe it was 136th north up to about 145th, all of them were taken out and replaced. And for those that drove through the corridor, they experienced what it was like to try and shift traffic from one lane to another. Every time you drove on the road, it was a different direction.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of work going on.
Yeah. Personal question here. You know, what is the use of having to change these traffic lights? I mean, I'm sure they have a shelf life or a useful life. Is there government, is there regulations that you have to hit for these, or what are some of the triggers that make those lights have to change?
Yeah, so you know, it's very similar to a homeowner when you're looking at your facilities within your house. So, you know, whether it's your irrigation system out in the lawn, or it's your car, or your HVAC system, it's much the same with these traffic control signals. The ones that exist along Round Lake Boulevard are approximately 30 years old.
Okay.
And what our team starts to experience is the communication and the wires that exist in there. They get frayed from pests, you know, mice and other rodents get into the system and they chew on them. They also wear out over time. They're out in the elements. We salt our roads in the winter to keep them safe and clear. And so all that salt, all that exposure just puts those pieces of infrastructure in a bad spot, and they need to be replaced. So that roadway, like I said, the system was about 30 years old. That's about the life expectancy of a signal system.
Well, I tell you, and it's safety too, because if one of those go out, you never know what could happen during that time. So I completely understand. I think a lot of people always question, you know, why are we replacing? They work fine, but it's really a safety, and it's just it's not easy to do that in the middle of the winter either when you've got that. So that's a great explanation. Of those ones that you've talked about before, which will be the biggest long-term impact for residents?
So I think fortunately this year, you know, a lot of the projects that are taking place in and around Andover are shorter term projects. We're doing these pavement preservation projects like Round Lake. We're doing the signal system right now. As soon as that project's lined up, it'll be a mill and overlay, just like we did on Hanson. So it'll be a shorter term project. I would say just plan your routes accordingly this summer. These aren't long multi-year projects. These are, you know, 4 to 6 weeks long projects. I would just plan your routes accordingly. We're trying to, you know, we focused on Hanson first. Traffic remained on Round Lake. Now that Hanson's done, we're going to start working on Round Lake Boulevard later in July. So just plan accordingly. Give yourself plenty of time to get to and from your activities and your destinations. But fortunately, I think this year, it's more about maintenance projects, managing what we have. There's no large-scale expansion projects like you saw a couple years ago on Round Lake. We went from 2 lanes to 4 lanes.
Yeah.
Many of those are years ahead yet.
Okay. Well, I tell you, I was surprised that, you know, there was quite a few backups on Hanson, and you know, for a very short time, and it was like done so quickly. Your teams did just a fantastic job of being able to get the timing done and make it open quickly. So the inconvenience isn't a long time, but it can be a little frustrating in the interim.
Yeah, and we recognize that, our crews. I appreciate that compliment, and I'll share that with my team. We pride ourselves on trying to minimize those impacts during construction. You know, it'd be very easy to come into a corridor like Hanson Boulevard, and for the contractor's sake, for safety's sake and getting the project done as quick as possible, shutting the road down would be fantastic, right? You come in, you get the work done, there's no cars zinging by you at 50 miles an hour, but that's not the reality. So each year our team gets a little better and better, and they find new tricks and tools in the toolbox to try and make that happen quicker. We experienced that on Hanson. One thing we did hear comments back from the public on is, why is it taking so long to put the pavement markings down? And we're actually trying a new type of pavement marking for Anoka County, where we're grinding in the lines so that they sit below the surface of the pavement. There's 2 reasons for that. One is in the winter, when we come through and plow, we're not scraping that off. And then also we can put a higher quality reflective bead on that. And there's a lot of, like you said earlier, there's a lot of technical jargon that goes with this, but there's actually a reflective bead on there that when the light hits it from your car, it reflects back to you so you can see them when it's wet.
Oh yeah, that's and trust me, I need that. I need that a lot.
I do too. I do too.
Where can people go to stay up to date on the latest construction and or possibly where there could be some delays?
So if you do a simple Google search for Anoka County Highway Department, that's probably the easiest way to find what you're looking for. When you do that Google search, it'll take you to our site. You click on the first site, I think that pops up. And then in there, you'll see current construction projects or highway projects. You can click on that link, and it'll have an active list of all the projects, what the status is. It even has a 1 or 2 week look ahead on those specific projects. And then we also have a map on there. So if you're, all of us are familiar with Google Maps and that type of thing. All of us use GPS to get around. There's a map on there that's interactive. You can click on a specific project and learn more about it.
So you've been with Anoka County for 10 years, 7 as the chief officer. What are some things, when you talk to people, what are some things that people are surprised about with your job?
Yeah, one of them that I heard recently, and it doesn't really relate to the roads so much, but county government has a lot of different facets to it, a lot of different faces, whether it's health and human services, it's our sheriff's department, which is vital. We also have the property tax and records. But within the highway department, we also have the geographical information systems department. And what they provide is when you go on to Anoka County's website and you want to look up information on your property, whether you want to know where your property boundary is, you're thinking about putting a fence or some landscaping in, a lot of people don't realize that's a county service, and that's something that we provide. And there's details on there on the last sale, who owns the property, the size of the property. You can look up the plat. You can get all kinds of information at your fingertips just sitting at the computer at night while you're watching TV or checking out the news. There's so much information out there. So what I hear the most is, I didn't realize county government did that. That surprises me. I didn't know you guys did that. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of work we do behind the scenes, as you mentioned, to keep people safe and keep their life as easy as possible.
Yeah, well, it's an underutilized site. I've been on it, and it's like, you're right, you just have aha moments when you hit some of that. So as we finish up, Joe, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would just say, like I mentioned earlier, as you're planning your vacations this summer and you're moving about the city or even the state or the county, make sure you plan ahead. Give our construction crews a lot of space, a lot of time, and make sure they have adequate space when they're doing their work. And then give yourself time so that you don't get to your spot and you're frustrated and I should have left 20 minutes earlier. Plan ahead accordingly and be safe.
Yeah. These are all improvements that will help our community. So, Joe, I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us here on Live and Local, the Andover edition. And thanks again for all the hard work you do for us.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. We'll be back.
The Lower Rum River Watershed Management Organization is the joint powers organization including the cities of Anoka, Andover, and Ramsey. Their mission is to provide for conservation of water and natural resources and protection and management of creeks, lakes, and watercourses for recreational and public use. Resources of particular importance include the Rum River, Trot Brook, and numerous watercourses that drain to the Rum River, Round Lake and Sunfish Lake, Lake Itasca, and numerous wetlands. We met up with Becky Wozni, the administrator of the Lower Rum River WMO, to learn more about what the Watershed District does and how it functions in our communities.
All of the metro area has to have either a water management organization, a WMO, or a watershed district. And in our area, in Anoka County, we have 3 WMOs. The Sunrise, which is kind of northeastern Anoka County. Northwestern Anoka County is Upper Rum, and then Lower Rum is going to be the cities of all of Ramsey, all of Anoka, and a part of Andover. A lot of folks ask about wetlands. That's a big one, right? Can I or can I not do the project? And usually we find a way that they can do their project. Not always, but usually with some variation and a little bit of, kind of moving things around or whatever, we can usually find a way to make their project happen. We do a lot of water quality monitoring in Lower Rum too. That's the one thing I want to emphasize. We do have the Rum River that we monitor, Round Lake and Grass Lake or Sunfish Lake. It's kind of 2 different names on that lake. Those are all monitored for water quality. And then we also do lake levels, including Itasca. And that is a good way to kind of keep long-term data that really helps to inform how you make decisions in the future. For instance, Itasca Lake a few years ago was way, way down. And people were really starting to get worried, so I was getting a ton of phone calls. Well, if you look at the long-term data, that's happened before. And so, you know, is there something else going on? Are we getting too much dewatering? Because there's been a lot of development in that area, right? So there is concern, like, is all that dewatering impacting the lake? And short-term, it probably was. But long-term, we're seeing it now bounce back. The longer that you have that data and that data set, the better the information is. And then the other thing that we do that I think would be kind of interesting for viewers is that we actually do what they call biomonitoring on the river. That's done in conjunction with Anoka High School. And we have students come out from their AP biology, come out and they get on their waders and they go out there and they actually scoop all the insects off the bottom. And then we help them identify them. And then in doing so, you can get a really good idea of like the quality of the water, because certain species can tolerate low water quality and others can only tolerate higher and better water quality. And I mean, also too, that's just creating that stewardship, right? Because the Rum River is really a unique and special place, and it's a special river. And there's, you know, the water quality is super high, but we can't take that for, you know, advantage of that, or, you know, just assume that it's always going to be good. We actually have to work. And we have been working really hard to try to maintain that water quality. So, but probably the best way is just to call me directly. My direct phone line is 763-434-2030, extension 140. Or you can go to our website, and our website has a ton of stuff. So I would always recommend going there. We have tree information, we have wetland information, we have water quality information. We actually have what they call a dashboard, and on that you can see where we've done projects. You know, as citizens, if you're interested in doing, like, if there's something that really is wanting to get more involved or anything like that, I think, again, probably start with us, because depending on where you are, depending on what you want, the Anoka Conservation District actually probably is a better place to start than the Lower Rum. They're more actually going to probably be best off contacting our office or your cities. So your cities oftentimes will have certain things that they can get involved in, especially like the you know, adopt a storm drain and things like that. A lot of the cities will implement those. So I think that's the main thing, is that, you know, if you want to get more involved, just give us a call and we'll get you started in the right direction.
Well, when it comes to keeping our lakes and rivers clean, we have someone from behind the scenes that helps out. It's John Janke of the Coon Creek Watershed. John, thanks for joining us here on Live and Local. The Coon Creek Watershed District is vital to Andover and what we do here. For those of you who aren't familiar, and you and I had a chance to kind of talk about it as we have a lawnmower coming through right now. But anyway, we've got, for people that aren't familiar with what the watershed is, what is a watershed? What kind of things do you guys take care of?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Yeah, Watershed District is a local unit of government. Our specialty is dealing with local surface waters, things like lakes, rivers, ditches, ponds, wetlands, things you see about. We help residents and developers in the city manage our waterways in a way that is in balance, so we can maintain a healthy ecosystem that functions for drainage and flooding, in line with how we operate in our daily lives with parks and trails and development and whatnot. And we do a lot of things. You see sometimes our crews are out taking water samples in the lake or river, and we're kind of evaluating the general health of our waterways. We deal with a lot of drainage issues, making sure that our waterways are clean and clear, so when we get large storms, water can drain out. We spend a lot of time on flood protection, making sure that our homes and critical infrastructure are protected from those larger storms that we get, that flood risk. And then we also spend a lot of time thinking about our aquatic habitat for those environmental things that we have, all the bugs and fish that live in those systems. And then we also take care of when people recreate in our waterways, when they go fishing or swimming or boating, that they can do so with a reasonable health risk, making sure that we're staying safe out there as we recreate in our waterways.
Yeah, well, that's extremely important. But, you know, when you think about Andover, I mean, you know, you think you get a little bit more granular on how does it affect Andover residents? Talk us through kind of how that works.
Yeah, Andover is uniquely positioned. The Coon Creek Watershed District covers 7 communities. Andover's in the middle. The headwaters of Coon Creek is in Columbus and Ham Lake. And so when it rains, water from those neighborhoods and those communities drain into Andover. The water from Andover contributes to Coon Creek and then continues downstream into Coon Rapids, where it runs into the Mississippi River down by the Highway 610 bridge. And so Andover is right in the middle. So if we get a lot of rain in Columbus or Ham Lake, that water's coming your way and could cause a flood risk. And we're contributing water down to Coon Rapids, and we don't want to be bad neighbors and send flooding down to them. And so in Andover, you're getting kind of a push and a pull, where we want to make sure that waterways are going through slowly, so we're not harming Coon Rapids, and that we're not accepting too much water from upstream neighbors. And so we work very passionately to make sure that Andover is protected from flow, and that as we all contribute to the pollution and water quality in those areas, that we're maintaining overall general health of that water as it goes through multiple communities. And so that's really how we work with Andover residents, more specifically as to their role in the overall system itself.
You know, this time of year is always, you've got some big concerns with water as people are out more and they're working their lawn, they're doing other things that you don't have issues with necessarily during the winter. What are some of the biggest concerns you have this time of year?
Yeah, you're right. Summertime is an active time, and we love it. We love enjoying our summer. But yes, we are worried about those large summer storms. In the wintertime, we get snow and the water kind of stays on the landscape. In the summer, when we get those big, heavy rains, they wash a lot of pollutants off of our lawns, our driveways, parking lots, and local roads. And while we work with cities to make sure that we try to keep up as much trash and debris off of those surfaces, we all play a role. When we're doing our lawn care practices, when we're picking up after our pets, or just generally cleaning up after storms. No matter what we do, we all have kind of a role to play to make sure that our pollutants aren't entering that system. Anything that is on the road or lawn during those big heavy rains get flushed away, and where do they go? They go to the lake, the river, or the wetland. And they're not really easy to remove at that point. We work very hard to remove pollutants from those waterways, but we need help preventing them from getting there in the first place. And that's when every resident and landowner, any visitor to Andover can participate in helping with that.
Yeah. Well, one way they can help participate is the Adopt a Drain program. Mm-hmm. And it's something, I've had a drain personally for the last 5 years. It's such a great program. Explain a little bit about, number one, how do you do it and how do you sign up? And then what is the benefit for the Coon Creek watershed?
Yeah, Adopt a Drain is a great program. It's actually a national program that we participate here locally and have a lot of great interest, but have a lot of great demand for it as well. You can go online to Adopt a Drain, or you can go to the Coon Creek Watershed District website at cooncreekwd.org, and we can help you sign up. What the program really is that in your neighborhood or maybe somewhere that you see those grates along the roadside, along the curb line. And what you're doing is you're adopting one of those, making sure that after storms or periodically we're clearing those of any lawn clippings, debris, trash, or things of that nature, and keeping it clean and clear so when we get those big rains that we don't have localized flooding. It also brings a lot of awareness to what pollutants might be going into those areas. Oftentimes we drive past hundreds of them a day and we don't even realize they're there. When you adopt even one, you're getting a greater perspective as to what's going down that drain, and you see those pollutants firsthand. You see those lawn clippings making their way off the lawn. You see that pet waste coming down the curb line. And it really brings a general sense of awareness to help you and your neighbors in your community. So it's not just a place that we live, but a place that we cherish. Yeah. And so it's a great program, but Andover has a lot of those grates, those catch basins throughout the city. So we need more volunteers, and we sponsor that and can provide additional assistance if anybody's interested.
Yeah, well, and it doesn't take very long. You have to clean the drain out. You take a picture of it before and after. Sometimes you're asked to weigh out what you get out of it. It's a fantastic program, and not only that, there are times that you'll get an email saying Twins tickets for inexpensive cost, or some other specials out there. So you partner a lot with some other local businesses to be able to promote this Adopt a Drain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as far as an agency staff goes, we don't have enough eyes and ears, and we don't know the neighborhoods as well as people who live there. So instead of us sending out crews to maintain all of those hundreds and thousands of catch basins and other resources, we try to crowdsource and deal with people who actually cherish and work there or live there. And so, yeah, there's a lot of incentive programs, either nationally or through the state or even locally through watershed districts or your city. And so, yes, we work with a lot of businesses and local interest groups like Rotaries and things of that nature that adopt these drains. And you're right, they're not that hard to do, so a lot of people adopt more than one.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's good. Well, I know that QCTV has 3.
Great.
And the staff is out there cleaning those. And by the way, you do get a sign that once you do and you clean it, you poke it in the ground, and they know that drain has been cleared. And it also helps promote a little bit as well. So with that, what are some other simple things that residents in Andover can do to help protect the water quality?
Yeah, we touched a little bit on lawn care. I mean, it's a big thing. We all love our green, lush lawns. It's aesthetically pleasing, and it's a great thing to have. However, there are some simple things we can do. Like we said, during these large rains, any lawn clippings we have, herbicides, pesticides, or pet waste, or any general trash and debris, leaves and sticks, not only can they move down the system and cause obstructions, which might lead to drainage or flooding issues, but they also contribute to overall pollution. Our local waterways have some capacity to handle some pollution, but when we all are contributing too much all at once, it gets overwhelmed. And once it's in the water, it's very difficult to remove and very expensive to remove. So it's a lot easier for us to prevent and to work together and making sure that we're not making our waterways any worse than they already are.
Yeah, so that's great. John, thank you so much for taking time out and your passion for the Coon Creek watershed and passion for keeping Andover with clean and safe water is fantastic, and we thank you. So
thank you. I appreciate the time.
We'll be back.
At first glance, it's a wall of names. But behind every plaque is a story, a family, and a sacrifice.
Hi, my name's Tom Porwall, Andover resident for going on 33 years now, I think. My wife and I built a house and moved in 1993. I am a member of the Andover Fire Department. I'm a paid-on-call firefighter with the department, as well as full-time fire inspector right now with them.
The Andover Veterans Memorial was created to honor those who served. And for many families, adding a plaque is a way to make sure those stories are never forgotten.
The process of doing it was very easy, a really simple form to fill out. I think there's 6 or 7 different forms of verification that you can submit to the city that shows that a vet was either honorably discharged or has a general discharge. So a real easy form to fill out and supply that document, and away you go.
But for Tom, it wasn't just about the process. It was about honoring his dad.
So the person that I have a plaque on the wall for is my dad, Ken Porwall. In high school, he joined the National Guard in 1941. Prior to the start of World War I, they could see what was coming, and his National Guard unit was federalized, meaning turned into a full-fledged military Army unit. They were a tank company. Dad was a tank commander. And then in September of 41, that unit was sent overseas to the Philippines. They would be the first armored unit ever sent overseas by the U.S. military.
His father served in the Army from 1939 to 1946. Endured the Bataan Death March.
Over that 8 days and about a 100-mile march, out of those 70,000 soldiers that started that walk, about 10,000 of them died on that 8-day walk.
And spent years as a prisoner of war.
Where he was literally slave labor for 2.5 years, unloading coal boats into little train cars and dumping them off, essentially 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I remember right, they got like 1 day off like every 3 weeks. Otherwise, it was work 12 hours a day.
Stories like his aren't always visible, but here, they're remembered.
In Dad's case, a lot of the guys that he was on that death march with or in prisoner of war camps for 3.5 years, a lot of those guys came home and never talked about it. kind of on their deathbed, they said something to their family, what are you talking about, right? And Dad, on the other hand, started talking about it really early on. And I can remember in grade school writing reports about it for school, right? So it's something that's been with me my entire life. Everybody's got a story behind them, and we don't know an awful lot of those stories, right?
Each plaque is more than a name. It's a reminder that the life we live today didn't come without cost.
All in all, he's got a year prepping to fight the Japanese, half a year fighting them, 3.5 years doing slave labor for them, and then a couple more years of hospital stays after he got home from all of that. So when I say looking at the plaque brings back a lot of kind of sensitive memories, that's what I mean is these folks have paid a very big price for our freedom and our ability to do what we do now, right?
A wall of names, but more importantly, a wall of stories.
I'll tell you what, have you ever had a plant that just isn't growing right or something's eating at it? Well, there is a local resource that Anoka County has. It's called the Anoka County Master Gardeners, and I am joined by one of the Master Gardeners. It is Anna Disco. And Anna, thanks so much for being here on Live and Local for this. A lot of us don't know what the Master Gardener program is. Bring us through this just real briefly on what is this?
Will do. Thank you very much for having me today. So Master Gardeners, we are gardeners with a passion. We are an extension of the University of Minnesota, and the course that we take is an online course that has modules that focus on everything from soil health to botany to all different kinds of wildlife and plants, lawns, shrubs. It gives us a chance to apply best practices and inform us about things that we might not know about. So many of us Master Gardeners come in and say, gee, I'm a houseplant person, or I'm a vegetable person. And so it gives us a broad variety of information. And then we share that information with the public with the goal of helping them to have a successful garden or successful houseplants.
Well, that's great. And it's something that everyone can join, right? Someone can join. If they're interested, how do they become a Master Gardener?
Absolutely. Good question. So if you go to our website, we will start putting out information sessions in around the month of August.
Okay.
And then applications online can be made from August through October. And the website is the AnokaMasterGardeners.org. And then the decisions will be made, and then you'll get information about the course, which starts in the month of January. And then all of the coursework is online and self-paced.
Well, that's great. So there's something called the Plant and Insect Diagnostic Clinics.
Yes.
What exactly happens at all those?
Those are great. Those are a great resource for the community. So we typically have those clinics at the Bunker Hills Activity Center. And those are held on Wednesdays. And you can bring in a sample of something that you're concerned about or you don't know what's going on. Some people bring in a sample of a leaf or even a photograph of something that's going on, a piece of turf from their garden, or even a bug, and they have it in a baggie or a jar. And then the Master Gardeners collectively come together and take a look. We discuss with the individual what we think is going on. We have microscopes, we have textbooks. And so it's like collective minds coming together and giving people some ideas and things that they can do to manage the concern.
Rather than just throwing the plant away and buying a new one, or having it spread to other plants, you've got some experts there that'll help out. So
absolutely.
And that's Wednesdays, Bunker Hills.
Yes.
And what's the time?
I believe it's from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And they can find the information online, and it goes right through the middle of August. The only exception is the Wednesday around the 4th of July weekend.
Okay. Well, yes, of course. That's great. So we've got plants here.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about some of these plants and what's happening with some of them. Which one would you like to start with?
I'm going to start with this one first.
Okay.
So this guy is the, it's a tropical plant, and it is the bird of paradise. I could tell from looking at the fanned bottom of this plant. Now there's some leaf concerns here where they're split, brown, some spotting, and dry. However, these two here are vibrant. They look phenomenal. My guess is that these these leaves are the older leaves. And this plant, when I check the soil and I put my finger down in, it's pretty dry. So when I talked with the owner of the plant, I said, one of the things this plant might be happy with is, and here we go, we're going to have a look. Never mind. Okay, I stuck my finger in here, and I did pull it out earlier. I believe this plant could use a wider dish because it's gotten so tall, and it could probably use a good watering, but about every couple of weeks. You don't want to overwater it because it's a tropical plant, but indirect light is perfect for this plant as well. So just looking at what's the home like, what's the food or what's the water like for this plant, and what's the exposure, because it is a tropical plant.
Oh, that's great, and that's an indoor plant. Obviously, we've taken, I think, from QCTV studios, and so hopefully they're taking some notes.
Yeah,
so.
There you are. The next one is probably most everybody starts with something like this. This is the pothos. This is a wonderful, just resilient plant. It's great as a house plant. It cascades down, leaves will fall off. You know, you can pinch it off and you can propagate it and give it away to anybody you wish. This one, again, this is the one I did dump and just check the roots. It's not root bound, which is great, but it's dry. So I think this guy, again, could use good watering. If I put my finger in, it's still a bit dusty, but it's healthy. Everything is green and it's thriving. So really it's just a matter of a good watering and then just checking about every 5 days. Put your finger in. If it's damp down to the first knuckle, it's happy.
That's great.
Succulents. Some folks like to just dabble in succulents. They are easy to care for, but they're different. They don't want to be in heavy dirt. They like very light aeration, and so they just essentially could be watered once a month. The succulent is just placed in a very fine, and you can see that I have the soil here that's meant for like a tropical plant, and it has the ability to drain well. This pot doesn't have a hole, so I put stones at the bottom of the pot to help with drainage, and then teeny little decorative stones on top. You can give this as a gift to a friend who is like, oh, I'm not real good with plants. But all you have to do is put like a teaspoon of water about once every few weeks. Just keep an eye on it. Indirect light, it's happy with. And honestly, they can live on your desk at work as long as you have your lights on.
So only 1 teaspoon every 2 weeks.
Teaspoon
that is
or
incredible.
Two, pretty much. Because again, many of these live in the desert, so they're not used to the heavy rainfall that we might experience here.
So, well, great. Well, I think we've got time for one more. Let's.
All right. This is a dahlia plant, and I picked this up at our Master Gardener plant sale, which we have every year at the Anoka County Fairgrounds right around Mother's Day weekend. It was gorgeous, and I've never done anything with dahlias. I wanted to put it in a pot so I could kind of contain it and see what was going on through the season. And it's doing well enough, but I did notice that some of the leaves down inside were getting a little crispy, and a couple of them had some spots, and I thought, well, here we go. Here's one, for example. When I planted this, we had intense heat. And so I think what happened was this plant probably was getting a little bit too warm. So I moved the location and I put it where it gets a little bit more early sun and not so much all day long. Again, because it's not in the garden, it's in a pot. And I checked my soil. I've used some good potting soil, so there's enough looseness here so it can drain well. And so far, so good. But another concern is there's tiny little holes on the leaf, and it could be that we have some slugs in the soil. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, and if that's the case, then I might just shave it down a little bit, get rid of some of the leaves, and I may retransplant it into a different pot. There's also, I'm trying to think of what it is. There's a product on the market that's like Sluggo that is good. It's organic, and you can use that to kind of keep the slugs from getting in and attacking your plant.
Oh, well, that's great. And I love the fact, because it looks so healthy, you're able to get down and say, okay, well, it may not be healthy because of some of the stuff you're seeing a little bit down farther towards the root base as
Yes.
you get into it. So listen, beyond the clinics, I'm sure that some people might want to see the Master Gardeners in the community. Are there any upcoming events?
We have so many. We do information booths at garden centers, usually in the springtime. We show up at farmers markets. So we have one coming up July 1st at Ham Lake, Coon Rapids Farmers Market, July the 8th, and Now Then. So pretty much just about every farmer's market, if you look for us, we will have a table with the cranberry logo, the University of Minnesota extension. You'll probably see lots of material. We have resources available there. We just want you to come and talk to us. We want to know, do you have a garden? Do you have questions? What are you doing? And we just really want to share the passion with you.
Well, and passion is not light on your side at all. It is there. I can tell that already. So what else would you like to add? We've got about 30 seconds left. Is there anything else that we can add? I know Bunker Hills Wednesdays with a great resource, indoor and outdoor plants, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
What else would you like to add?
I would say, too, that we're really trying to extend ourselves for some of the giving gardens, vegetable gardens. We're working with elementary schools, so we have a couple of elementary schools that have giving gardens throughout the summer. And that is really neat because we're working with students and getting them excited about planting. And when they harvest, they get to bring the harvest home. So that's really neat. The other thing that we've done is we've started working with some of the senior centers so that we can work with them and help them develop some gardens or small gardens like raised bed gardens.
Oh, yeah.
We have a sensory garden down at Landmark of Fridley in the memory care facility. So we're looking at ways that we can reach people that may not have access and bring it to them.
Well, I tell you, my mother is part of that, and she absolutely loves the tomatoes that come out of those gardens. It's fantastic, and it's great. This is such a great resource. It's underutilized, obviously, and maybe not known. Anna, I can't thank you enough for being part of today on Live and Local. And we got to get on the website. We got to make sure we get over to Bunker Hills and get to these farmers market and fairs and have a chance to see you. But thanks again for being part of this.
Thank you, and don't forget to look for us at the State Fair. We're in the Ag Building.
Yes, absolutely, which is another great place to go for that. Anyway, so great.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll be back. Thanks again, Anna.
Are you looking to add some curb appeal to your home? Balancing the cost of an upgrade when prices of everything just seem to keep going higher and higher? Did you know that the city of Andover can help?
Yeah, so it's a grant program to pay a portion of the cost for homeowners who are making improvements that add to the curb appeal of their home. Really what it is they're repairs and beautification projects that show homeowners care for their homes and their neighborhood, and that benefits the entire community, so that's why the city wants to encourage that type of behavior. Grants range from $500 to $5,000 and cover 25% of the total project costs. So that means that projects do have to have a minimum cost of $2,000, and then that allows you to trip that $500 threshold for what the city would contribute to the project.
Start planning for 2027 now.
This program is eligible for homeowners whose home's assessed property value is less than $316,000. That's according to Anoka County assessors in 2026. I will say for grants in 2027, that amount is likely to change. We've seen it be going up generally with inflation, so make sure if you're applying in the future to be checking the grant application. Will have the new values on there.
An application can be found on the city's website.
Projects have to be visible from the street in the front of the house, and have to include at least one component. There are two lists of projects. They have to include one component from our beautification list, is what we call it. So for example, this could be replacing doors, windows, driveway repairs, permanent landscaping at the front of the home. Other more structural repairs like roofs and siding can be covered if you do have an additional beautification component as well. For example, if you have a $4,000 fence installation in the front yard, or even in the backyard if it's visible from the front, the city could contribute up to $1,000 of that cost if you qualify for the grant program. Unfortunately, your new tool set is not covered in the cost of the grant funding there. We try and make this as easy for the average homeowner as possible. There is an application form that has all the information that you need listed right on there. You'll need a description of the project and the project cost. We encourage people to collect bids for their work if it's something that they're contracting out. It's not required. And then at the end, you will be required to show proof of the project costs. upon the completion of the project. The grants are issued before the work begins, though, so in that sense, it's you're not paying out of pocket and being reimbursed for it. So we're trying to help people out that way too. So if you are applying for any of these projects, the application does not include the permits that are required by the city. So make sure that you pull the appropriate permits, or your contractor that you're working with is working with the city to get the permits they need for the work that they're doing. The grant funding doesn't automatically get you in to our building department folks. They still want to talk to you too. I do have another program that I'd just like to shout out here. We're income qualifying homeowners that are in areas that have water available, but their homes are not connected to city water. We do have a separate program specifically to provide funding to connect these homes to city water. It's just something that we're trying to make as many connections as possible in our system. You know, it's something that's monitored frequently. It's something that is more controlled than some of the well water. And so a lot of times when we encounter it is people go to sell their homes and the funding, the mortgagors or the funding sources, a lot of places are requiring well testing now. And if there are issues with the well, then we're seeing a lot of people come in before they sell their homes to get connected to city water as a part of that process. So I do want to shout that program out. If you have questions about that, happy to answer it. Or questions about this program, city staff are happy to answer any questions about any of your home improvement goals.
Well, welcome back. I just want to remind everybody, we are at Pine Hills North. We're at the new shelter that is reservable if you get to the city website. It still has that new shelter smell that is outstanding. The grills are clean. It's a fantastic, beautiful addition here at Pine Hills North. I also want to thank our guests today. We've got 16 days till the Andover Fun Fest happens, and Angie has done such a great job of promoting this and coordinating the Andover Fun Fest for the 30th year. Parade's going to be there, puzzle eating, hot dog eating contest, so much fun happening coming up in 16 days in here at Andover. Also want to thank Joe, who walked us through the roads system and how they're trying to improve and make our roads safe. A quick job on Hanson Boulevard. Now that's up and running, 4 lanes, and it's great. And they're still working on Round Lake Boulevard, and they'll have that done relatively quickly as well. And also for John Janke to come out here and tell us about a couple of programs. One program real important: Adopt a Drain. If you can, get out there and adopt a drain. It's a fantastic program. It keeps our water safe, helps keep our water safe, and they're doing a lot of things in the Coon Creek Watershed District. And our last guest was fantastic, Anna Disco from the Master Gardeners of Anoka County. Wow, she's got enough energy to power a small town, and not only that, she's got some great information coming out to you with all these plants that are in front of you. So bring your plants over to Bunker Hills on Wednesday, or hit up some of these the farmers markets and some of the spots around here, and get on the websites for all of that. Once again, this has been a fantastic day. The crew here at QCTV has done an outstanding job as well. I want to thank Leslie for the production and direction today, and then Ryan and the rest of the crew for everything else. This is Jim Childs for Live and Local Andover. We'll see you again.